But we got to talk about another trade that's like ruining another culture. So
Mm,
Westbrook came out and said, you know what? I'll come off the bench. We got Harden in here, and I'll go to the bench so we can build some continuity within the team.
mm.
Dave, was it the right move for Westbrook to come off the bench?
Yes, yes. For this instance, for one, you traded a lot to get James Harden. You traded away some of your best defensive players for him. You traded away Batum, Robert Covington. You traded some picks to get him, and it's a lot of money. So you're not going to put the system on the bench
Oh man.
because that's what he is, right? Didn't James Harden say, I don't run the system, I am the system.
Hey
So
man.
you can't put the system on the bench, correct? So the only person to do it was Russell Westbrook, and Russ as the this is one thing that doesn't get talked about. Russ is one of the best leaders in the game. I'll say that right now.
No, I
He's
agree.
he's someone who's willing to make a sacrifice no matter what it is. When he was with LA, he made the sacrifice to go to the bench with LeBron. He's willing to make a sacrifice and he's willing to do whatever he can to galvanize his players to help them win. So we got to give Russ some praise on that. And then he's doing something that a lot of other players, most players that have done what he did would not necessarily do. Think about now, this person never won an MVP, but he was a MVP caliber prepared. Think about Carmelo Anthony.
Hmm.
When he went to certain places, he didn't want to come off the bench. He was just like, nah, like I'm mellow. I want to start. Same thing with Allen Iverson. When Allen Iverson didn't want to come off the bench. That was another guy. So you got to talk about. Okay, Jody. Shout out to Westbrook for being the adult on the team. Now everybody else have to make sacrifices. Hashtag leader. Hashtag swiper MVP season. Yeah, that's true. That's pretty much what I was just saying. Shout out to Joe. That was a super chat for being a member for 4 months. I mean, that's how long we've had memberships.
You know what I'm saying?
But man,
Whew. Time flies when you're having fun, man.
it definitely does. I didn't even realize it was 4 months ago. That's crazy. Hey, that's what happens. Like you said, that's how when you're having fun. But yeah, I don't. I definitely think this is a good idea. I mean, one, this is someone who's used to coming off the bench now. And he's made a big impact coming off the bench. He made an impact with the Lakers when he was coming off the bench, and when he went to the Clippers last season, he was making an impact. Even when Kawhi and PG went down in the playoffs, he was the one. He had some really good games in the playoffs last year. I mean, they didn't make it past the first round because they had to play it against Phoenix, but other than that, they played. That was a Russ wasn't the reason they lost. Let me
Nope.
put it to you that way. And he decided to come off the bench. He didn't have to. He could have been like, nah, I'm Russ. I'm starting. But he said, I'll go to the bench. And now he wants to be able to help acclimate his brother, James Harden, into the lineup and say, hey, look, y'all need some continuity. Let me go ahead and go to the bench. I'm already used to this. I can make sure I do this. And y'all did a lot to get him. So go ahead. Y'all do whatever y'all can to get together offensively and defensively for the starting five. And I'll just help with the bench. And I think that was a great decision. Now, will it work? I don't know because it still depends on will James Harden make the sacrifice. And that's being a part of a system and not being the system. I think that's the issue with Harden. He still believes he's the system. I don't think that's going to work. Not in LA, not with Ty Lue, not with Paul George, not with Kawhi. It's not going to work. I think he has to make a sacrifice. If he's saying that he's willing to do that to help teams win a championship, he needs to show that now.
That's funny because you named Carmelo, right? And then we're talking about James Harden. It sounds like the same situation. Wherever Melo went, he was like, I'm not coming off the bench. I'm a starter. Like he still got it in his head that he's the franchise player. And technically, everywhere that James Harden has went outside of the Rockets, where he was that franchise player, is you're part of a big three now. So there is some sacrifice that you're going to have to tend to. And the other two people that you're playing with can create their own shot. It's not like they need you to set them up. So all the dribbling and then trying to find somebody outside of Embiid, because Embiid was the perfect situation for him. He just messed that all the way up. like the
Fact.
pick and roll and everything with that. But one thing I want to say is a few years ago, people used to kill Russ, right? He's not a team player. He's not this. He's always for himself. He padding the stats when he was getting the triple doubles. But technically, everywhere Russ has went, those teams have gotten somewhat better. I mean, when he was down there with James Harden, they still made the playoffs. They was in the bubble, and they won some games. Like then he gets traded to the Wizards, where technically everyone thought the Wizards was on a down spiral, and that was one of Bradley Beal's best seasons. He still
And
averaged
where did the Wizards end up?
in the playoffs. So they made the playoffs. He still averages triple doubles. Bradley Beal had one of his best scoring seasons that year. He finished second for the scoring title that season. A lot of the young players still love Russ to this day because of his leadership, because of that. Now he goes out to LA. They like, hey, Russ, you might have to come off the bench. First, it was some pushback because I understand why it was some pushback there too, because it's like, well, AD not really giving y'all nothing.
Facts.
At least I'm gonna go get a rebound. Like, you want me to sit on the bench? All right, cool. So he went to the bench. The team got a little bit better. Then you know the situation always felt. LeBron always wanted some more scoring. Technically, goes to the Clippers. Next thing you know, James Harden is there. Got fast forward just a little bit. James Harden gets there, and Russ looks around and says, "Oh, this the Lakers all over again." You know what? Hey, Ty Lue, I'm gonna go to the bench, bro. You good? Like, I can see how you looking at some of these huddles. I'm okay. I'm gonna just go to the bench. I'm gonna run with the second unit. I'm gonna still get my numbers. Some people are gonna get better while I'm out there. So, boom, I'm gonna go to the bench. So the question was it the right move for Russ? Yeah, because now look at him again. Also, we gotta note that he took that pay cut this season too to come back. So
Yeah,
Russ is showing y'all
he only getting
that he
like
the
what?
ultimate.
He only getting like $4 million or something like that, right?
I think so. Yeah, he took a mean cut. Yeah.
I'll look for the contract. Go ahead.
All right. But yeah, that just goes to show Russ is showing y'all that everything that y'all said about him over the years was all lies. Technically, because you really didn't see what was happening in the locker room. Of course, on the court, it looked this way, but he went out there and said, all right, I'm gonna go on the bench. And it might be a little bit of spite too, because he might just be like, you know what? I'm gonna watch this project fail, and then y'all gonna call me and ask me to go back to the starting lineup. But we gonna see. So for me, I think it was the right move for Russ. And for the Clippers, I just think it was the wrong move to trade for Harden anyway.
Yeah, so his contract is it was a 2-year, $7.8 million contract. He makes about $4 million this year and a little over $4 million next year.
Okay. That's a lot in LA. Some taxes, he probably making 1.5 after the taxes.
Yeah, I must say taxes. He getting taxed like crazy in LA. So
he like y'all. He like y'all a lot. I don't know. I ain't did that one. This LA. Anywhere else, I'd actually said trade me to. I don't know what Portland taxes look like, but yeah, trade me to Portland or somewhere. But nah,
I'd say trade me to Miami. Miami, no state taxes,
and the weather's nice.
There you go.
Yeah, but like you said, in the long run, we'll see. Because I think Ty Lue is upset with this situation too, man.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's me, but Ty Lue in that press conference didn't look happy when he had to talk about James Harden.
Nah, it reminded me of when the Cowboys got T.O. and who was it? It was Parcells. He was like, "Why would you go do that?"
Yeah,
I think it's one of those things.
Yeah, it definitely was like that. Even though T.O. was a baller,
yeah,
James Harden is no T.O. I'm sorry.
Then he got excuses. Like, he coming out here with the excuses telling him something. I didn't have a training camp, so
it's your fault. You ain't had training camp. Come on, man.
He tried to use that one. It was like, nah. I know it's public. Like, no, that's not the card I told you to use. Man. But look, we're going to go to a quick commercial break, man, for everybody that's tuned in with us right now while you either come in from the happy hour getting ready to go to the club, or you just waking up for your nap and you about to go hit up a hookah lounge. You like, man, let me check out what the sports show talking about right quick, man. Make sure y'all stay tuned, because what we got coming up next is we got to talk about the Bengals, man. The Bengals. Yeah. Some people said they weren't going to make the playoffs already, but too good. And then we got to turn around, and then we got to talk about that Monday night matchup, man. We got Mahomes.
Thank you for staying to the end. If you're watching this on YouTube, please like this video, subscribe, and also hit that notification button so you can be notified next time we put out a video. If you're listening on any podcast platform, subscribe and hit that notification button, y'all, so you can be notified we put out another podcast audio. And last but not least, hit that share button. No matter what you're listening to or watching it, hit that share button and send it to somebody that you know that would love to watch this episode you just listened to. So once again, thank you for staying to the end, and we'll see y'all in the next episode.